Taylor told me this one thing that was very, very eye-opening. And I've camped so many times and I never really thought about it until he told me. What he said was, camping, there are two things that literally make or break your camp. One, what food you have during the camp, and two is how you sleep. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys a super cool tent that I'm about to set up that one person can set up in a matter of minutes. And this company has been around for a long time supporting campers and hunters. So I want to show you guys the Springbar tent system. So Springbar started in 1944 after Jack Kirkman finished his service in the naval shipyards as a draftsman. He went back to Salt Lake and purchased AAA tent and awning shop. From there, he started creating canvas tarps, awnings, and covers for sheep camp wagons, horse blankets, you name it. And in the 1950s, when camping boomed, Jack noticed a problem with conventional tents and the design of them. And in 1961, Jack invented the Springbar tent. And the first model was a 10x10 canvas tent, which was only $83. And in 2008, when Jack Sr. passed away at the age of 90, Jack Jr. fully took over. And in 2019, the workshop moved to a new building on West Temple. And the way they manufactured the tents is the same as they did a long time ago. Unlike other tent companies, Springbar is one of the companies who still traditionally make their canvas tents by hand here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I'm about to put up the Springbar tent right now because it's getting dark because we got here pretty late. But the first thing that you got to do when you go to a campsite is find an open area, which is right here. And there's a couple tall grasses, but it's a good spot to put the tent. It's pretty flat and there's not a lot of stuff to move, so we're going to set it up right here. Okay, so before I start, I just want to say thank you to the Springbar team down in Salt Lake because they gave me this tent to use for the hunt. And I'm honestly super pumped because the tent that I have was a smaller one for backpacking. I didn't want to use that for 7 days. So yeah, they let me use this one to test it out and to share it with you guys. The tent that I got was the Vagabond. What comes in the bag is the tent itself, bag of the stakes, which these stakes are pretty gnarly. And then you have the poles. This is a super easy tent to set up. This tent is primarily put up by tension. So I'll explain it to you guys how to set this up because you don't want this tent to be super tight, just enough for it to be put up and protect you from the weather. First things first, of course, you got to take out the tent. This thing is pretty heavy because it is canvas, but it's not too bad. Make sure you roll it out evenly and spread out the tent in all four corners before staking it down to the ground. When you open the tent, if the door is not unzipped, make sure to unzip it because you will need the air to flow through once you put the tent up. Luckily for me, this tent had the door already open. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I wanted to walk around and make sure to have all the stakes in the areas where it needed to be staked down. Use either a rubber mallet or a small sledgehammer, which for me, it worked the best. When you hammer it down, don't go straight down. I personally like to do it at an angle. That's just how I was taught, and so that's what I do. Also, another tip, don't go around in a circle. Do it in a star type of pattern to make sure everything is even, just the exact same way how you would tighten up a wheel on a car. Once all that's down, you're going to take out these two poles, which these are the tension rods for the sides. And then you will take out the rest of the poles, which you will have these four little small ones. And then you will have these two other poles with a T at the very end. And this is what's going to create the tension. And one of the poles will have this sleeve, and you will see why later on. Next, you're going to get one of the T-poles and two of the thin poles, and you're going to connect them. Before that, you will slide the two thin poles through the canvas loop on the top. There are going to be small holes where the T connector is, and once you slide them in, you're going to make sure that they will touch just like this to that little notch in the middle. So this part I did not get a good angle on, but here's a video from Springbar. That little screw will create the tension, so you can screw it down or screw it out depending on how much tension you want. Remember that sleeve I was telling you about? Well, that's what's going to keep it in place. You just slide it over just like this, and that's it. Before putting it up, just make sure that everything is even, because you don't want this thing to be lopsided, and wipe off any excess dirt if there are any. So the first two poles that we pulled out are the poles for the side, and each pole will have these little notches, and you could adjust it depending on how level the ground is, and this will also create the tension vertically. To attach this, you're going to grab that T intersection again. One side of the pole will have something sticking out, and you're going to put it in the hole and then lift it up, and then the bottom will be next to one of the stakes. You do the similar thing on the other side, and boom, there it is, you're done. You guys can kind of see that the tension isn't super tight. It's still a little loose, but that's what you want, because if it is too tight, there's a chance that something might go wrong. And that's it. It honestly took me a little bit longer because I am recording. Me putting this up probably would have took me a couple minutes. Say what's up to Taylor. I think the longest part is probably just hammering all the sides, which is not that bad, but just make sure when you go to a spot that the ground isn't super soft, because this tent is held up by tension. So if there's a lot of tension and the ground is soft, your stakes will just pop off and then your tent's gonna collapse on you. So let's go inside, because this thing is pretty spacious for 2, maybe 3 people with cots. But if you're just gonna be using like a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag, you could probably fit like, I don't know, 4 to 6 people. Average size, like 5'10". So let's go inside. When you first go in the front, you have this canvas outer layer, has YKK zippers, and these things are freaking huge. Behind that, you have this green mesh, so during the day or anything like that, if you want to keep airflow, you can just keep this shut, and then you can roll these back and tie them to the sides. But at nighttime, of course, you're going to want to close that for some privacy. Boom, you walk in, bam, you have this huge window, mesh window right here. But this is so cool. We got the mountains back there, and hopefully we'll get to hear some elk. But this also has some thick YKK zippers. So I'm 5'10". My hand is touching the top right now, and I'm almost fully extended. I'll have Taylor come in here because Taylor's a big boy, and I want to show you guys how big this tent is to give you guys some comparisons. Speaking of Taylor, he's been working on something hard the past couple of months, possibly even years. And he just recently made his website, Wesborn, which is his leather goods company. He made it live. Check it down below. He has a couple wallets like the saloon, because it looks like saloon doors. He has the saloon bifold, which is super cool. And he has 2 other types of wallets. If you want to support a small business, I'll link it down below, and give him a follow on Instagram, because he has a couple things coming up for the holidays. The inside also has these little hooks, or these little loops that you could hang some stuff in there. You could possibly hang rope all the way across if you want to have lights or anything like that, or hang some clothes if you need to, or hang something to dry off. But this is to give you guys a better look of how big this thing is. Taylor, what's your height?
6'2.5", 6'3".
6'2", 6'3", and he still has maybe what? I don't know, 4, 5 inches, 3 inches left. So this is, and like, I'm on one side of the corner right now. This is all the way in the back. So it's like, do you feel pretty spacious?
Yeah. There's plenty of rooms for activities in here.
Did we just become best friends? So this is the inside. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna set this up for the next 7 days. I will be sleeping in here. My wife's gonna be coming here later on in the week too, and this is gonna be enough space for the both of us with our gear. So huge thank you again to Springbar. Thank you guys for letting me borrow this for the week, and I will give you guys a full review on this once the hunt is done, because this was, first off, easy to set up. Second off, there's a lot of room inside, and I don't know, I just love the look of it too. It's not like a traditional tent or like a teepee tent, because most teepee tents once you go to the edges, you kind of have to duck, but this one, you really don't. So thank you guys for watching, and if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see the hunt, because the hunt is probably going to be the next YouTube video coming out. And if you guys have any questions, concerns about the tent, I'll link it down below, and I'll also link the Springbar website down below if you want to check out any other stuff. Thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. He stopped. Got him.